when Jim asked me to do this, I suppose it made me reflect, and I suppose I am the sort of person who tends to like to connect people because I get excited by what that can achieve. I hadn't really thought about it, to be perfectly honest. That example that you gave there, Jim, I remember sitting in my front room with, this was way before, I mean, this is going back 10 years, isn't it, if not more. We were doing that pitch. I was in the middle of my front room and you were in Singapore, I think, or yeah, Singapore. And I'd rigged up a similar setup to what I've got now. But at those days, no one knew why you would be sat in your sitting room at 4 o'clock in the morning in the UK, joining a meeting like this, like everybody does now in their sitting room. But in those days, that was quite unusual. And I did it because I really wanted to, because I like working with Jim. I like working with Phil, who was the other guy who was involved. And I really wanted this to be successful. And I suppose that's kind of what we're here to talk about. How do you get people to want to do things because they genuinely want to? And sometimes you have to persuade people. Interestingly, you mentioned the admin on it. It was me that put admin in there because my experience of admin in getting things done is that and I have to watch my language here because I'm a Yorkshireman and I can be a bit base at times, but you know what they always say is if you complain in a restaurant that all sorts of things can happen in the kitchen, you wouldn't have a clue. It's a bit like that with admin. If you want to get an innovation through and you get the sign off from the CEO on the bigwigs, you've got to have everybody on side or else they can slow you down. So my experience is they're almost more important because they're the ones that actually make the innovation happen as opposed to signing off the creativity. Obviously it depends on culture and all sorts of things. Hey, look, I'm going to dive into a lot of stuff here, but I think my understanding is that what happens is that after 15 minutes of me talking, you guys are going to split off into smaller groups and you're going to come up with some questions that you might want to ask each other or ask me, and that's great because that's more important than listening to me. But given that Jim asked me to do what I'm doing, I've put together a few slides that just throw in a lot of ideas. And I ain't going to go into great detail on any of them, but a lot of them might hopefully just make you think that's something I do, that's fine, or that's something I've never thought of, I'm going to look into it. And so there's quite a lot of things here that we just touch on the surface of. But first of all, you know, why people? Well, it's people, to me, it's people that makes the results happen. I've worked in a lot of organizations where they have a lot of ideas, but they find it difficult to actually make it happen. And I think people get so excited by the creativity bit. But to me, innovation is the implementation of it. It's the monetizing, taking it to market, all of those things that need granular behaviors from people that often are nowhere near the people who came up with the idea. And so to get people on board and genuinely get people who want to do it is a fantastic thing.